Prohibition empowers Satan. That's a simple spiritual reality. Prohibition, even your desire to have prohibition, is you using the weapons of the world to fight against flesh and blood. And we don't use the weapons of the world to fight against flesh and blood. We have the weapons that are given to us by God for tearing down the strongholds of Satan. We do not war against flesh and blood. We war against principalities and powers of the air. But Christians lately have more of a focus on the power of government than they do the power of God. There's more focus on if we can get the right people in office, the right laws passed, the right people in positions as judges and prosecutors, then we can fix the world. But the truth is, America is pretty much lost because the Christian church has abandoned the power of God. And it's not just your successes. I mean, you get to pass a law against something and it gets worse. Let's look at the very first thing we call prohibition from back in the beginning of the 20th century. Good, meaning Christian folk decided that people should not drink the demon alcohol. And so they got laws passed against it. And what happened? Satan got empowered. All of a sudden, crime became organized crime. And the problems that came as a result of prohibition, people being shot down in the street, police officers dying because some people didn't want other people to drink alcohol. And it got so bad that, Satan literally kicked tail to the point where the government had to back off and say, okay, never mind, we're going to repeal prohibition. The Christian community should have learned everything they needed to know from that. The simple fact that when Christians stepped out of God's way of doing things, when Christians decided to start trying to control the world that God is already in control of, when Christians decided to fight against the people evil uses instead of fighting against the evil, they lose. Satan wins. Satan goes from building strongholds to building fortresses because Christians have abandoned their real power. Your real power is not in politics. It's not in government. It's not in law. It's in acknowledging the fact that you can't do anything without God, that you need God to do these things. Look, God can put an end to abortion anytime he wants. He can put an end to homosexuality anytime he wants. He can put an end to human trafficking and alcoholism and drug abuse and all of the wickedness in the world that is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. God could put an end to it. But your desire to try and do it in your power and in the human power of government and courts, your desire is what is strengthening Satan's ability to make his presence known. He almost doesn't even have to hide anymore because you have no power to stop him. If every Christian fell on their face before God and simply said, Lord, there's only you. There is no other power. There's only you. If every Christian did that, then God would fix everything. He would heal the land. But we don't. You know, there used to be a hedge of protection around. I look at the Southern Baptist Convention. The Southern Baptist Convention, let's face it, you go there now and half the conversation is about the loss of political power. It's about the kingdoms of the world. It's about everything other than God and Jesus Christ and the kingdom of heaven that we're supposed to be focused on. And the result has been, all of a sudden, we've got a bunch of Southern Baptist pastors who are raping children. You know, the Catholic Church had the raping children problem, but the Catholic Church abandoned the Bible a long time ago and decided the authority was going to be the Pope and the Church. So they lost that hedge of protection. And now the hedge of protection that was around America is gone because the Christian church has abandoned the only power we have to stop things. You know, that stuff coming over the southern border, all of those people coming in here, that's part of the chastisement of God against his people. If you've not read the book, then understand there have to be enough people in this country ready to imprison Christians. And those people are pouring across the southern border. They've been brought into the country by a certain political party. It's all coming to fruition. And the only people who really have any say, any power to change the course of the nation is the Christian church. If you will just humble yourselves, pray, seek his face, and turn from your wicked ways. And what wicked ways am I talking about? Fighting flesh and blood instead of fighting spiritual forces.